Top 50 Advanced Python Interview Questions for Experienced. Hello guys, welcome to DVJ Technologies. I am super excited to have you here. Question number 1. What are non-local and global keywords used for? A variable declared outside the function is called global function. Non-local is often used when you need to access a variable in a nested function. This means that the variable can be neither in the local nor the global scope. These two keywords are used to change the scope of a previously declared variable. Question number 2. What are virtualenvs? A virtualenv is what Python developers call an isolated environment for development, running, debugging Python code. It is used to isolate a Python interpreter together with a set of libraries and settings. Question number 3. What is unit testing? How will you do it in Python? This is the first level of software testing, and it focuses on testing individual units of source code. A unit is the smallest testable part of a software and usually comprises of a few inputs and a single output. Question number 4. What is the difference between class method and static method? The @class method decorator is a built-in function decorator that is an expression that gets evaluated after your function is defined. A static method does not receive an implicit first argument. Both of them can be called without instantiating an object of the class. Question number 5. How do you do data abstraction in Python? Data abstraction allows you to provide only the required details and hides the implementation from the world. It can be easily achieved in Python by using interfaces and abstract classes. Question number 6. What is speech_recognition? Does this ship with Python by default? Speech_recognition is a library for performing the task of recognizing speech with Python. This forms an integral part of AI. No, this does not ship with Python by default. We must download it from the PyPI and install it manually using pip. Question number 7. Differentiate between Django, Pyramid, and Flask. We can use Django for larger applications. It includes an ORM. Flask is a micro-framework for a small platform with simpler requirements. It is ready to use and you must use external libraries. The Pyramid is for larger applications. It is flexible and you can choose the database, the URL structure, the templating style, and much more. Question number 8. How do you delete a file in Python? Files can be deleted in Python by using the command os.remove, file name, or os.unlink, file name. Question number 9. What is GIL and what are some of the ways to get around it? GIL stands for the Global Interpreter Lock and it is a mechanism in Python used for concurrency. GIL locks the interpreter, and even though it looks like you are working with threads, they are not executed at the same time. Question number 10. Name some standard errors that occur in Python. Index error. It occurs when you are trying to access an invalid index of a sequence. Key error. It occurs when you use an invalid key to access a value in the dictionary. Type error. It occurs when the expected type does not match with the given type of a variable. Value error. It occurs when an expected value is not given. Name error. It occurs when you are trying to access an undefined variable or a function. IO error. It occurs when you are trying to access a file that does not exist. Question number 11. List some PDB commands. Some PDB commands include add breakpoint, resume execution, debug step by step, move to next line, list source code, print an expression. Question number 12. What exactly are pandas? Pandas is a Python package that provides a large number of data structures for data-driven activities. Pandas fit in any function of data operation, whether it's academics or tackling complicated corporate challenges. Pandas is one of the most important programs to master because it can handle a wide range of files. Question number 13. How to delete a column or group of columns in Pandas? Drop function can be used to delete the columns from a data frame. Question number 14. What is the best way to make a data frame from a dictionary? To generate a data frame, a dictionary can be explicitly supplied as an input to the data frame function. Question number 15. What are .pyc files used for? .pyc files contain Python bytecode, same way as .class files in Java. Question number 16. What is the MRO in Python? MRO stands for Method Resolution Order. Whenever we search for an attribute in a class, Python first searches in the current class. If found, its search is satiated. If not, it moves to the parent class. We can call this order a linearization of the class child. The set of rules applied are the method resolution order, MRO. We can borrow the __row__ attribute or the mrow method to get this. Question number 17. How do we find out the Python version in CMD? Press CMD and space to see the Python version in CMD. This activates Spotlight. Type terminal into this box and hit enter. Type Python version or Python v and press enter to run the program. The Python version will be returned in the line following the command. Question number 18. What are metaclasses and when are they used? A metaclass is a class whose instances are classes. Like an ordinary class defines the behavior of the instances of the class, a metaclass defines the behavior of classes and their instances. Question number 19. How to generate random numbers in Python? Random numbers can be generated by using various functions in Python. They are random, it returns a floating point number, between 0 and 1. Uniform, x, y, it also returns a floating point number which lies between the values given as x and y. Randant, x, y, it returns a random integer which lies between the values given as x and y. Question number 20. Explain the inheritance styles in Django. Talking on inheritance styles, we have three possible. Abstract base classes for the parent class to hold information so we don't have to type it out for each child model. Multi-table inheritance for subclassing an existing model and letting each model have its own database. Proxy models for modifying the model's Python level behavior without having to change its fields. Question number 21. In Python, how do you copy an object? Although not all objects can be duplicated in Python, the majority of them can. To copy an object to a variable, we can use the equals operator. Question number 22. What are decorators in Python? A decorator in Python is a function that takes another function as its argument, and returns yet another function. Decorators can be extremely useful as they allow the extension of an existing function, without any modification to the original function source code. Question number 23. What is polymorphism in Python? Polymorphism is the ability to take multiple forms. Suppose if the parent class has a method named xyz, then the child class can have the same name with its own variables and parameters. Question number 24. How would you perform unit testing on your Python code? We have the module unitest in Python. Function test case, skip test, test case, test loader, test result, text test result. text test runner, expected failure, find test cases, remove handler, remove result, skip if. Question number 25. How to remove spaces from a string in Python. Spaces can be removed from a string in Python by using strip, or replace, functions. Strip function is used to remove the leading and trailing white spaces, while the replace function is used to remove all the white spaces in the string. Question number 26. What are *args and kwangs in Python functions? *args, non-keyword arguments, is used to pass a variable number of arguments to a function. It is used to pass a non-keyworded, variable length argument list. Kwangs, keyword arguments. Kwangs in function definitions in Python is used to pass a keyword, variable length argument list. We use the name kwangs with the double star. Question number 27. What is the iterator protocol? The iterator protocol for Python declares that we must make use of two functions to build an iterator, iter, and next. Iter, to create an iterator. Next, to iterate to the next element. Question number 28. What is Tkinter? Tkinter is a famous Python library with which you can craft a GUI. It provides support for different GUI tools and widgets like buttons, labels, text boxes, radio buttons, and more. These tools and widgets have attributes like dimensions, colors, fonts, colors, and more. Question number 29. What are data frames, exactly? A changeable data structure in pandas is called a data frame. Pandas can handle data that is organized on two axes and is heterogeneous. Columns and rows. Question number 30. How do you define abstract classes in Python? An abstract class can be considered as a blueprint for other classes. It allows you to create a set of methods that must be created within any child classes built from the abstract class. A class which contains one or more abstract methods is called an abstract class. Question number 31. What is the Python with statement designed for? The with statement simplifies exception handling by encapsulating common preparation and cleanup tasks in so-called context managers. Question number 32. In Python, what is __init__? In Python, the _init_ function, often known as the function. When a class is used to construct an object, the _init_ method is used to access the class attributes. Question number 33. Can you use Selenium with Python? Selenium is an open-source, widely used testing tool that is capable of automating tests on web browsers. Being open source means there are no licensing costs. You can write test scripts with Python or other languages like Java, PHP, C#, Ruby, and Perl. Question number 34. What is the difference between Numpy and SciPy? Numpy is a Python library which is written in C and therefore is one of the fastest and most compatible libraries among the rest. Like indexing, reshaping, etc. SciPy stands for Scientific Python and has been written on the top of Numpy. Question number 35. What types of joins can Panda provide? A left join, an inner join, a right join, and an outside join are all present in pandas. Question number 36. What are generator functions? Python generators are a simple way of creating iterators. A generator is a special type of function which does not return a single value, instead, it returns an iterator object with a sequence of values. In a generator function, a yield statement is used rather than a return statement. Question number 37. What is a named tuple? A named tuple will let us access a tuple's elements using a name or label. We use the function named tuple for this, and import it from collections. From collections import named tuple. Question number 38. What is a palindrome number? A palindrome is a word, phrase, or sequence that reads the same forward as it does backward. Question number 39. When you exit Python, is all memory deallocated? Exiting Python deallocates everything except modules with circular references, objects referenced from global namespaces, parts of memory reserved by the C library. Question number 40. What is call by reference in Python? In Python, both call by reference and pass by reference are used interchangeably. When an argument is passed by reference, it is then available as an implicit reference to the function instead of a simple copy. If any modification is made to the argument, it will also be visible to the caller. Question number 41. How would you create an empty NumPy array? Import numpy. numpy.array. Question number 42. What is Flask WTF? Explain its features. Flask WTF supports simple integration with WT forms. It has the following features: integration with IT forms, global CSRF protection, reCAPTCHA supporting, internationalization integration, secure form with CSRF token, file upload compatible with Flask uploads. Question number 43. How are you going to get rid of duplicate elements from a list? To delete duplicate elements from a list, you can use a variety of techniques. The most typical method is to use the set function to convert a list into a set, then use the list function to convert it back to a list if necessary. Question number 44. What is call by value in Python? In Python, when the argument whether a value or an expression gets bound to a respective variable in the function, it is said to be call by value. Python treats that variable as local, and any changes made to that variable remains local and does not reflect outside the function. Question number 45. Explain how to use Python's list comprehension feature. List comprehensions are used to change one list into a different one. Elements can be included in the new list on a conditional basis, and each member can be modified as needed. It consists of a bracketed statement that precedes a for clause. Question number 46. In Python, what is the map function? In Python, the map method is used to apply a function to all components of an iterable. Function and iterable are the two parameters that make up this function. The function is supplied as an argument, and it is then applied to all elements of an iterable, which is passed as the second parameter. As a result, an object list is returned. Question number 47. Differentiate between split, sub, and subn methods of the remodule. Split, this makes use of a regex pattern to split a string into a list. Sub, this looks for all substrings where the regex pattern matches, and replaces them with a different string. Subn, like sub, this returns the new string and the number of replacements made. Question number 48. What are accessors, mutators, and det property? What we call getters and setters in languages like Java, we term accessors and mutators in Python. In Python, we have at property, which is syntactic for property. This lets us get and set variables without compromising on the conventions. Question number 49. What is the definition of a classifier? Any data points class is predicted using a classifier. Classifiers are hypotheses that are used to assign labels to data items based on their classification. To understand the relationship between input variables and the class, a classifier frequently needs training data. Question number 50. Define Flask in one line. Flask is a web microframework for Python with no dependencies on external libraries. If you have any questions, please add in comments or contact on my Gmail or LinkedIn. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.